Hey everybody, welcome back to MTG Spec. This is Tom. We got a lot of comments on my Metazoo will fail video, and I just kind of skimmed some of them, but I want to go back and actually answer some of these for everybody to hear. So the first comment was one that I pinned just to remind everyone that if they dislike the video, write dislike in the comments so others can see, because YouTube and their infinite wisdom have removed the dislike button. And I want to say before I read any of this, because I know there's some insulting stuff, I will defend to my death the right for you to call me a nearsighted boomer, and I appreciate your comments. So let's start with Joker's favor. Yikes. As someone who's been obsessed with cards for over 30 years, me too, I agree. This is the only TCG worth anything artistically. It didn't take intuition or over 30 years of experience to see where Metazoo is going. When it comes to actual art, not to mention planning, from the flawless naming, use of the popular IP cryptids, i.e. real lore, is far better than the nonsense that comes out of the past dozen years with how artless Fab is, or even more infantile things like D-Spirits or Nostalgics. Okay, first of all, that's the first I've ever even heard of D-Spirits or Nostalgics. So this guy is deeper into TCGs than I am, arguably, or at least the new ones. I thought TCGs were over, bland. But Metazoo shook that up entirely, changed the game forever. Okay, I'm not sure how. Now we have a card game, not unlike Pokemon, will expand far beyond just a card game or TV show, but it combined the investment collectible player side all in one. A massive blended hybrid of the three. I mean, arguably, you could say Flesh and Blood has done that as well. You know, their alpha boxes are, worth thousands of dollars. There's obviously a player base that showed up to a convention recently, so I'm not sure what the distinction is there between Metazoo and Flesh and Blood, but let's continue. After the TV show comes out, it's going to get annoying how popular it gets to some people, similar to Pokemon in the 90s. This video was logicless. First of all, the TV show thing is interesting because there have been plenty of CCGs based on TV shows. Now, granted, I understand Metazoo was a CCG first and becomes a TV show. That is a distinction worth noting. I think in the case of Yu-Gi-Oh, it was a manga, then a TV show, then a game. I'm not sure the chronology there, but the number of TV shows turn card game, or even movies turn card game, is almost limitless. In fact, when I first saw Metazoo, one of the first things it reminded me of was this. It's hard to see, but Zatchbell. Like this game. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me pull over. Zatchbell. Here we go. So this was an anime, and like some of them about the layout. I know Metazoo's got like a red back and everything. Just something about it. When you see this, like, does it look like something that's going to stand the test of time, or do you instantly go, "Well, that's a soon to be X CCG"? Anyway, back to the comments. So, all right, sorry, Joker's favor. I am a boomer, guys. You're absolutely right. But Metazoo shook that up entirely, changed the game forever. Now we have a card game, not unlike Pokemon, that will expand far beyond just card game or TV show. Okay, so it is interesting that they're doing a show based off Metazoo. That, like, I can't remember the last time a collectible card game actually evolved into a show. So there could be something there. So had no points other than I can't read it. No, I said the design was ugly. Like when you see a CCG that just looks like it's amateurish, you don't expect good things out of it. Now, I understand a lot of people like the kind of childish art or innocent art or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't vibe with me at all, but maybe it is just because of a generation gap. Who knows? Either someone with a grudge or someone whose favorite card games never took off is mad about this one doing well for some reason. Well, no, I'm just objectively saying it doesn't look like a high flyer, but we'll see. I don't know why people make these purposeless rant-hate videos without even valid points to debate. Not that there could be many this early in the game, especially by those who have never been to a tournament, etc., etc. Just ignorant to everything, really. Well, I'll tell you why I made the video. It seems like there's an elephant in the room that Metazoo looks amateurish and no one addresses it. They talk about the financial impact, they talk about the enthusiasm, but no one is pointing out that it doesn't look like the creators of Metazoo really learned from the mistakes of the past. When you look at the evolution of Magic, how they've changed the card design over the years to make it more legible. And then you see something like a Metazoo card frame where the background's so muddy you can barely read the title. Like that just shows to me that they didn't put enough thought into it. And it is sad in a way for me, because it seems like they're onto something, but we'll go into that later. Okay, so all right. Instead of making their own positive content about the TCGs they actually enjoy, they make hate reviews of TCGs they know the least about. Odd. Unless it's just to ride the clout and views that Metazoo tag bring into the table, I don't really get these venting rant videos. I'm kind of trying to warn people, because people are sinking a ton of money into this game, and I think the sealed product will continue to do very well. I occasionally will do a keyword search on eBay for TCG, just TCG, and just see what is highest. You would not believe the prices people are paying for the Harry Potter CCG right now. It's like $2,000 for a Chamber of Secrets booster box. That's a game that failed a long time ago. It was based off of a almost indestructible IP. But where is it now? Like, the singles market is dead. But if you can find a sealed box of Harry Potter now, even though it's a dead CCG, arguably a failed CCG, it's still a ton of money. So just because I say Metazoo isn't going to last doesn't mean that the cards won't retain value or the sealed product won't retain value. It's, even if Magic ended today, the cards would still be worth something. So somebody commented, Suniki commented, you can't really find videos of people playing. At the very least, it's hard, LOL. No deck building videos. Flesh and Blood actually has a huge fan base that is very deep into this, including myself, and the art is better. I will agree that the art is better with Flesh and Blood, definitely. Joker's favor. Oof. The art part is definitely subjective. That's the sole reason I strayed far from Flesh and Blood, aside from the teenage-like naming. Just look like digital art I could Google. I can hardly tell it from Magic, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, you could turn that argument towards Metazoo and just say it looks like art that I found on magnets, underneath magnets on my refrigerator, because it looks like a kid drew it. The Flesh and Blood game, I'm assuming, has at least a year's growth ahead of Metazoo, not to mention it piggybacked off of Magic. Metazoo can't really do that with Pokemon gameplay-wise, and I'm not sure if you're even looking. There are about 23 deck-building play videos just these past 9 months, and I imagine it'll only grow. I haven't even begun yet. I just can't do the Fab or D-Spirits. Again, I've heard of D-Spirits before, but I've never seen D-Spirits. I imagine it's garbage with that name, but that's just me. I like to judge a book by its cover, apparently. I'd take that Akora over any of those, but to be honest, Metazoo is everything I've wanted in a multimedia franchise. More grounded real-world lore, i.e. is the real-world lore, LOL. Metazoo is grounded in real-world, okay, sure. More mature Pokemon-esque style, top-tier art, well, arguable. Hybrid game of Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Except the field bonuses really do happen, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh! Also a hybrid for the collector player investor triangle as well. As someone who hasn't given a second look to any TCG since 2002, Metazoo is the one. Not for everyone like yourself, but some of us have been waiting a really long time for this one. And I will say that is the number one thing in favor of Metazoo right now, is the player passions. I've been the brunt of them myself, so I know firsthand now that the Metazoo players are fanatical, and I mean that in a good way. They love their game. All right, Dakota says, Blaze of Glory, Dance of the Dead, Vesuvian Doppelganger, Bottle of Suleiman, Tempest of Freed, etc. There's plenty of novel-length MTG card effects. I'm confused why that's your biggest point. Also, you're looking at Kickstarter cards. They've changed the layout. All right, well, none of those Magic cards Dakota mentions here are recent from the last, 15, 20 years, probably. I will say he does have a point. There are plenty of Magic cards that have long card effects. I'll show you the worst offender. Again, we're going to have to tilt over here. So this one is Ice Cauldron, and I'm not going to read even a jot of that, but I will say that in an interview, Richard Garfield, the creator of Robo Rally, well, also he created Magic as well, he has cited this card as the absolute worst Magic card ever made. And it's because of those novelistic effects. And there's a good reason Magic doesn't do that anymore. So the fact that Metazoo does have really long, like convoluted, there's a difference between complex and complicated or convoluted. And I'm not sure they're treading that line very well. But that is one of the biggest impressions I get from Metazoo, is that they haven't really studied the past of CCGs or learned from the mistakes. So also, you're looking at Kickstarter cards. They've changed the layout. Well, that's good for them. 8th place Dave says, I feel like people who play collect Magic tend to be on the side of Flesh and Blood. I agree. And people who play collect Pokemon tend to be on the side of Metazoo. That makes sense. I want to agree with most of the points you've made, although I'm not sure if the game will die off. To me, Metazoo feels like an attempt to cash in on the collectibles craze of 2020. I mean, really, it was close to the heart of it. Metazoo and Flesh and Blood were definitely the breakout players of 2020. I understand that it was likely in development long before that happened, but the game still feels hollow and playing too much on nostalgia for old Pokemon cards. Other than seasoned collectors, I'm not sure who this game is for. The art and theme of the cards makes me think it's supposed to be for kids, but I imagine most kids would prefer to just get Pokemon cards instead. And I think long term, that is going to be Metazoo's biggest problem. According to Alpha Investments, Rudy, that they've struck a deal with Walmart to be on the shelves. Metazoo's going to get a cold splash of water when they realize they're on the same shelves as Magic and Pokemon, and that parents don't have that name recognition, in mind as much. Okay, maybe there'll be a cartoon by then that'll help bolster support, but in terms of shelf identity and getting picked, I don't know. I think they're going to be in trouble up against that kind of competition, like side by side. Like right now, Metazoo's kind of exciting and new, and people are seeking it out. But once it's been there for a while, once it just kind of sits there, it's like, is it going to have the same curb appeal? Who knows? Other than seasoned collectors, I'm not sure who this game is for. The art and theme of the cards make me think it's supposed to be for kids, but I imagine most kids would much prefer to just get Pokemon cards instead. Well, plus kids can't afford the $1,000 for the Kickstarter boxes, so it is a weird hybrid of kid and adult collectors, seemingly. Collectors alone would be enough to keep the game going. I just wonder how long that will last. And that's the thing. Like when this bull market finally really crashes in terms of CCGs, will the interest still be there? When the newness rubs off, are people going to still look at that art endearingly? I don't know. Seeking the Truth, aren't we all? Seeking the Truth says, just based off the things you didn't bring up in the video, I'm going to go ahead and say there's a whole lot about Metazoo you don't know. I will admit that freely. Mainly the people, money back in it. I've seen the creator of Metazoo on a lot of the box opening videos Rudy does. He's kind of a meek little guy with his little dog, and he seems like a nice guy. I don't like to shit on this game too much. I really think people are putting good money after bad. Tom Chaos Official. You're looking at choppy pixelated pictures rather than the actual cards, so of course they look like garbage cards. Cry face. Collectors don't care about the gameplay. Investors don't. Scalpers don't. Well, I'm pro scalper, so let me just stop you right there. People are playing and collecting by the masses. They are also working on ways, from what I heard, to improve the gameplay. As for utilizing that into the cards, only time will tell. Seems you're just reaching for views, though. So who failed more? LOL. This video is actually very successful for me. I hope people realize when somebody's trying to get their channel to be monetized, they count 3 aspects. They count total hours watched, total subscribers, and total number of strikes against the channel. They don't care if there's hatred towards the channel or downvotes. It makes no difference. So I'm curious of your opinion on Flesh and Turds then. Well, I'll show you. This is the 3rd most money I've ever spent on a card. Shayana Diamond Gemini. That is a stunningly beautiful card. This isn't even the cold foil. This is a pedestrian rainbow foil, but absolutely incredible. Spent about $130 on this, and I love the art. Yeah, Flesh and Blood, fantastic art. Haven't played it, fantastic art. All right, but that's why I collect. I mainly collect card games for the art. But I've played plenty, and I've certainly seen plenty of them go through their entire life cycle of birth, maturation, old age, and death. So And Flesh and Blood already looks incredibly polished with amazing frames. One of the things about Metazoo that struck me immediately was the way the frame was created with the, it's hard to explain, but with the numbers, all that, it didn't look like it was the numbers were integrated in the frame. It just kind of looked like somebody pieced it together on a paint program or something. It didn't have that smooth, polished, beta tested look. And that is important. So William Kuhlman says, I'll be surprised if it's dead in 2 years. I'm giving it 5 at least. That's a very good point. It has a lot of momentum right now, and when I said it'll be gone in 2 years, that was probably inaccurate. I would agree that William Coleman has a really good point here. Aaron Salcedo, flash in the pan. Somebody just got done watching SM Pratt. LOL. I didn't know who SM Pratt was at the time. I looked it up. He's a YouTuber. I haven't seen any of his videos. Flash in the pan is a term that dates back, I believe, to the 18th century. It refers to the way photographs used to be taken with a giant tray full of some sort of high explosive. I don't know. Anyway, it's a very old phrase. Don't think just because you saw some YouTuber use it that they were the ones who came up with it. But thank you, Aaron Salcedo, for your comment. Let's see. Billy Kim, 100. It's not about gameplay. Look at Pokemon and ask. And you know what? He did Pokemon with a little accent. I like that. Look at Pokemon and ask how many people play the game. Probably a lot. I mean, I would say a lot. Although a lot of, I work at a comics store, card shop, LGS, whatever you want to call it, and there's new kids getting into it all the time. A lot of collectors care about the art and don't even read the cards, care about the big text. You boomer collectors always talk about gameplay. First of all, if you understood just how incompetent I was with electronics, you would realize that's an insult to boomers. Look at Pokemon. I think Metazoo is popular from its art and collectability. I'm telling you, the art of Metazoo is the biggest stumbling block for me. Especially the what they call the obnoxious 9. It's sort of like the weird Power 9 from Magic, except it's the 9 foil cards that are only available in reverse foil. And the reason they did that was because the art images in the middle of the foil was too small to do regular foiling on. Like the silver bullet, where it's like just a teeny little silver bullet in a sea of foil. So like that, even on a technical level, they made that kind of massive screw up in their game already. It just seems like they really, I don't know, they stumbled in to this game without doing a ton of thought. I think Metazoo is popular from its art and collectability. If you don't like the art, that's fine, but a lot of people do get it and like it. Go collect stamps or trains or something, hater. All right. Seeking the Truth, dislike. Outlaw 4188, dislike. Nojo, dislike. Philip Robbins, facts. All right. Well, thank you everybody for commenting. I appreciate the feedback. Maybe I'm wrong about Metazoo. I hope for your sakes, those of you who enjoy the game that I am. But I've not only seen a lot of card games come and go, I've watched them closely throughout decades of study. As I continue my binder tour series, you're going to see that I'm a true enthusiast of card art, card games. I love them. I've been following them for years. And every time I see one that I like, that does not stand the test of time, that has its little parabolic curve and crashes, it's heartbreaking. So I just want to warn you guys, there's a very good chance that this is going to follow suit, but we'll see. I'm not a Kreskin. We'll see. All right. Hope everybody has a great day. We will talk to you later. Okay, bye.